In the news, government has announced a 10% increase in the daily minimum wage for workers. The announcement by the Employment and Labour Relations Minister Haruna Iddrisu in Accra on Wednesday takes the wage to 8 cedis 80 pesewas, an increase of 80 pesewas to take effect from January 2017. The increase was arrived at after a meeting of the National Tripartite Committee comprising representatives of the Ghana Employers Association, the Trades Union Congress TUC, other labor unions and the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations.
Comprises the Ghana Employers Association and organized labor led by the TUC and the Secretary General with the Ghana Federation of Labor, supported technically by the Compensation Department of the Ministry of Finance and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the Ghana Statistical Service, have over the period been negotiating on the 2017 National Daily Minimum Wage. As many of you may be aware, the determination of the National Daily Minimum Wage is a wage policy instrument. It affects individuals, it affects organizations, it affects society generally. The wish of government with its tripartite partner would have been to be discussing a living wage, which will make life even much more bearable for workers. But we do know what the National Daily Minimum Wage can do. It also affects employment, and therefore our collective determination over the years is to make a determination of it and make a public announcement of it at least earlier than budget. And there's a school of thought which strongly thinks that concurrently we should be discussing increases to the public sector base pay increases as consequential to what happens at the determination of the National Daily Minimum Wage. The tripartite have been meeting since the beginning of this year through May up to this morning, and accordingly the tripartite, the national tripartite, have resolved and agreed by consensus a 10% increase in the National Daily Minimum Wage from 8 cedis to 8.880 Ghana pesewas Ghana cedis. Is 10% increase in the National Daily Minimum Wage from 8 Ghana cedis to 8.80.
The Ghana Employers Association, however, does not appear ready to implement the new wage. This is your election headquarters. Stay with us for all the latest in election-related matters. The Electoral Commission says it has identified 81 constituencies as potential flashpoints in this year's election. Speaking at a colloquium on election violence held by the Kofi Annan International Training Center, EC Chair Charlotte Osei expressed worry about political parties and their youth, saying the EC has the potential to destabilize the peace of the country. Joy News' Joseph Akable has more in this report.
The colloquium formed part of activities by the center to ensure that this year's elections is peaceful. It offered civil society groups, the Peace Council and politicians an opportunity to contribute ideas on how to prevent possible violence. Speaking at the event, EC Chair Charlotte Osei called on political parties to join the fight to ensure that this year's election is peaceful.
For this year's elections, the Electoral Commission has designated 81 out of the 275 constituencies as flashpoints, or places where there is a potential for election-related violence. At this point, we believe that we require concerted effort by all political actors, by state institutions, by the media, by the security agencies, all of us working together towards a more civilized political culture and to ensure peaceful elections in Ghana. Earlier in the year, when we conducted a limited voter registration exercise, there were over 24 incidents of violence resulting in injuries and destruction of registration equipment and materials belonging to the Electoral Commission. Just last month, an office of the Electoral Commission was set on fire in a suspected case of arson, following a dispute between political parties during the continuous voter registration exercise. We have a high number of pinpricks in our nation, judging from the situation of our youth unemployment, issues of religious radicalism in the sub-region, illegal drug use. You add to that unemployment, you add to that proliferation of small arms. All the pinpricks for conflict are in place. And when you throw that into a very tense, very volatile political culture, it is time we start working to prevent the cannon shots.
The United Nations representative in West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, speaking at the event, cautioned political parties against politics of insult.
During this phase, the political parties are expected to constantly and publicly reaffirm their commitment to a fair and peaceful process. I therefore urge the political parties to desist from attacks on personalities and focus on relevant issues pertaining to the lives of Ghanaians. The election campaigns should be an opportunity to debate issues and perspectives instead of trading insults, invectives, use of hate speech, or language likely to foment bitterness, rancor, or violence.
CID boss Prosper Agbo, touching on plans by the police to prevent possible violence, said community outreach programs are being organized to sensitize citizens on their role in ensuring peace before, during, and after elections.
The Inspector General of Police himself has engaged in a dialogue series, and this is aimed at holding discussions with stakeholders to appreciate their concerns over preparations for elections 2016, thereby building confidence between security agencies and all stakeholders toward achieving peaceful elections. The Community Policing Unit of the Ghana Police Service is also organizing special outreach programs under the theme Safer Communities Before, During, and After Elections 2016. The unit is sensitizing the citizenry on their role in the conduct of peaceful elections.
EC Chair Charlotte Osei expressed worry about political parties and their youth, saying some of their actions have the potential to destabilize the peace of the country in that particular colloquium that was attended by Joseph Akable. Let's still stay on some election-related matters. The spokesperson of the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says the party's many promises to Ghanaians are realistic. The NPP in the last few weeks has promised, among others, 1 factory per district, as well as 1 dam for each village in the 3 regions of the north. It promises its opponents say are unrealistic, but Mustafa Hamid says the policies advanced by the flag bearer are backed by modern economics and are doable.
He doesn't understand governance. He doesn't understand governance, and that's very sad. I was just telling your sister station in Akan that the Akan people say that if you have many farms, you attend to all of them. This country has myriads of problems, and we ought to attend. We have to have solutions for each of those problems. What have we promised so far? A region for the northern part of the western region. 1 factory, 1 district, 1 factory to resolve our unemployment crisis. 1 irrigation facility, 1 village in the northern part of Ghana to resolve our hunger problems and our deficit in food production. I don't see how that can be considered as too much or outmoded.
Running mate of the Progressive People's Party, Bridget Jogbenuku, says the party is poised to pull a surprise On the other contenders in the 2016 general elections by amassing majority of the votes, Madame Jogbenuku, who expressed satisfaction with the response to the PPP's campaign message so far, said the party prefers not to follow the example of the NDC and the MPP, who have been making numerous promises to the electorate. In an interview with Joy News, the only female running mate so far going into the December elections said the PPP has identified opportunities in the regions and will build on them so that Ghanaians can put them in the Flagstaff House.
People are very receptive of us. People are tired of the same old way of voting. They want a change. So they see us and they get happy. Not even in the regions, in Accra, on the streets. I get a crowd around the car anytime. Our car has a PPP number plate. So as I go along, you get a crowd everywhere. People are excited to see you. Sometimes they think it's Dr. Ndom. And when you roll up, it's a pleasant surprise and they're happy. So it's not only in the regions. People are ready for a change.
So is that what you've brought on board so far?
Yes, that's what we are promising. I mean, we are bringing the change, a change in doing things, running our politics and governing this country in a better way for the prosperity of all.
You mentioned that people have been receptive of your campaign tour. Does it give you any sense of the percentage the PPP is going to win the 2016 election?
Will surprise you. I will not give you any percentages, but the PPP will surprise Ghanaians. By the number of votes it would win. You'll be surprised.
It will win the votes or win the election?
It will win the votes, and by winning the votes, we are winning the election.
You are coming up with so many ambitious plans if voted into office. I would like to find out from you what your flagship program would be, the PPP, if voted into office, and how you intend to fund that. I
don't think that they are ambitious. These are things that are doable. Whether the government in power has the political will to do it, that is it. It's one, having the political will. That alone would put us in a place to do these things. And two, when you talk about the funding, the funds are there. Corruption takes a large chunk of our money away unaccounted for, and that is what is going to take care of some of the plans we are promising, or the policies we want to put in place. Now, of course, the biggest one, as you can hear from our flag bearer's name, is Juma Ra. He's promising jobs, and they can be created, and it will happen.
Now, the NDC is promising, or President Mahama specifically mentioned on the campaign tour, that is going to give each household a meter. Nanado is promising one district or one village, one dam in the northern region. Do you see this as overambitious? Is it achievable?
I don't know how they intend to do it. Those are their plans. PPP, we think about what we say we will do, and it's doable. I'm not going to tell them whether it's overambitious. They know what their plans and how they intend to fund it. We know that we say our flag bearer in the PPP will provide jobs. He's already doing it, so it's not out of our league to do it.
Is the PPP promising one region, one something, one district, one something?
We don't have to. That's what makes us different. We are not the same as the other two. We are different, so we don't have to say it's that way. But we have said that we will provide jobs in every district.
That is, one would say, vague.
When we say it is because we know that it exists.
That's it for the AM News. Don't forget, you can still get interactive with us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We are Joy News on TV. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message on the number 0560 800,000. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the newspapers.